And welcome to my morning routine. Okay, so I'm going to get started here, and I'm going to start with my hydrogen routine. Why? Well, because it's absolutely incredible and it's super good for my health. And so I'm only going to drink, remember, the way you make your hydrogen is extremely important. In my personal opinion, don't use this is not medical advice or any medical claims, but don't use the wrong methods, guys. In my personal opinion, and it can actually be potentially dangerous. But hopefully, with that being said, I mean, this is my true expertise. I've researched this so much. So this is the way I do my hydrogen protocol in the morning. You can see how fast I'm going to drink this. I don't have to chug it all down or anything, but I drink it pretty fast. While the pitcher's on the machine, it'll maintain the hydrogen. That's why it keeps bubbling. 0, 0 is basically it's on maintenance mode. So it's going to be full of hydrogen that whole time. Mm. Problem is, the moment I pour it in the glass, that's when the clock is ticking as far as how fast I can consume it. And if you notice, I'll drink it easily in less than 3 minutes. So while I drink my hydrogen water, we're going to be making more clean water because this is not just normal water. It's not just hydrogen water. It's the cleanest hydrogen water. And that matters. So I guess here I'll show you how I clean the water in the mornings. I only have two hands and I'm trying to drink this water as I go along because that's how I would normally do it in my day. Mm. And that feels really, really good in the mornings because we're definitely dehydrated. People don't realize how revolutionary it is to just have, it's so shocking, just clean water. And not just clean, I mean the cleanest, which is what I'm doing right here. I'm actually putting water now. I'm using RO water to put in my distiller. You could use tap water. You could use any water. This thing will clean the water to the highest degree. Nothing will clean it like that. No reverse osmosis, no carbon filter, no refrigerator filter. Nothing will clean it like that. Now, while that's doing that, I'm going to continue with my hydrogen protocol here. And again, not medical advice because it depends on how healthy your kidneys are and maybe even what kind of pharmaceuticals maybe you're on. Different things to watch out for. But for me, I'm going to drink 1 liter right now. The pitcher holds 1.5 liters, the whole thing. And so from this line to this line is 1 liter. So that's how much I'm actually consuming right now. Mm-hmm. I kind of let all the water touch my gums and my teeth. So it takes me a moment. I can't start talking when I'm drinking, obviously. But just notice how long it takes me to finish this. So that's gone. And while I'm making the clean water, I'm going to put my drops, just 1 drop, maybe 2. That look like 3. And no salt, just minerals. Let's see where this is at. Let's see here. Yep, it's almost full. Not quite. So I'm going to actually get a little bit more hydrogen water. I want to finish my liter because then it takes about 20 to 30 minutes before I can eat. But you guys are going to watch me do I'm going to show you how to make the hydrogen smoothie that I make in the morning. That is also pretty revolutionary. It may not seem like it, but the things that I've seen it do, and it was based on research. So I mean, that's how I started. This whole thing was based on data from studies from Japan, but all around the world, but mostly Japan. They were the ones who really discovered things that kind of blew my mind, including hydrogen. All right, well, there we go. I mean, that was easy. Probably one of the easiest things to do, in my personal opinion, for your health is super clean water with the hydrogen. That just changes everything. I'm gonna do about 1 liter, maybe a tad more. All right. So now, since there's half a liter in there, Actually, I'm going to use this guy. Since there's a half a liter in there already, that means that I'm only adding 1 liter, which means I'm going to turn on the 30-minute countdown, but it will be fully saturated before 30 minutes because there was already water in there that was fully saturated. So if you do the math on that, it will be fully saturated within 20 minutes. So we're just making more hydrogen water. That's right, guys, because we're going to be using some of this actually. Okay, so there we go. All done with that part. All done with my hydrogen water morning protocol. Now what we're going to do is finish making our clean water. Now why? Again, clean water, guys. Do you have any idea what's in your water? Is it revolutionary? I don't think so, but you know, it's surprising how good it works. And somehow I've never heard a doctor tell me, hey, you should, you know, I've actually had doctors ask me, so how would I clean water the best way? Funny, I guess they don't teach that in medical school, do they? And, you know, if you only knew what was in there, if any doctor saw a lab report on what is in our water, they would probably then change their tune and be like, okay, clearly we need to be changing the water we drink. All right, so moving on. Now we're going to make the hydrogen smoothie for nutrients. There's actually lots of reasons, but let's see here. Hi, Hydrogen Man. Hey, Dramore. Eva says, hi, how are you? Do you have a protocol for diabetes? Yes, I do. And Dramore says, my grandfather's saying, show your face. Well, do you guys want to see my face or do you want to see what I'm doing here? Okay, Eva says, also, how does hydrogen affect your kidneys? And my grandfather said, you're very clean. Say hi. I do try to be clean. Okay, so let's first start with kidneys. Yes, this is what I'll tell you. In my now remember, you guys always know I don't give any medical advice at all. But what I can tell you about kidneys is one example is I actually have a brother who was literally about a month away from getting on dialysis. And he didn't even know. It was just one day he went to the doctor and the doctor was like, oh, well, your kidneys are all screwed up. He's like, what? And they're like, yeah, you're about 3-4 weeks away from getting on dialysis. And he called me freaking out. And he was like, dude, I'll do anything. What do I got to do? Because I mean, let me just tell you something, guys. You don't want to be on dialysis. Okay, it's such a nightmare. And so I put him on my protocol, which consisted primarily of, here we go. Okay, by the way, hydrogen smoothie, before I keep going on, because I got to keep making it. First, I'm putting my Purium butter. Why Purium? Because it's extremely clean, actually. You know, I didn't find any pesticides in lab reports, and there's other organic products that I have seen pesticides. The ingredients are good, the way it smells, the way it looks, and then, of course, I've done blood work after using it for quite a while now, and quite impressed with how good this stuff is. And so the reason that we put it in here, although it's just food, what I also look at is I look at the ingredients, which is food, clean food, you know, organic, and also not, you know, no pesticides and stuff like that. But I also look at the nutritional content because my goal is to get, this is something that's really revolutionary in some ways that people just for some reason don't think about. If you look at the nutritional label, which I can't seem to get open here, it gets stuck. But anyway, when you look at the nutritional level, which I have, the nutrients on it are really, really good, but they're all coming from food. And that's actually the goal. You want to get your nutrients from food. Your body assimilates it better, just seems to understand it better because we've been eating food probably for thousands of years, and that's why all this synthetic stuff is kind of new to us. The next ingredient I'm putting in here is raw cacao. Numerous health benefits for raw cacao, but the one that's very piques my interest is the activation of stem cells. And it's just, if you notice, the stuff I put in here is always just food. I mean, I'm not putting any weird supplement that has, you know, color number red or number 40 or whatever, like just weird ingredients that would not be good for us. So this is all about making a smoothie that is extremely nutritious. So this is actually, just so you guys know, this is actually my multivitamin. I mean, literally, this is my multivitamin. But if you noticed, I drank the hydrogen water before I started all this. That is really the revolutionary part. I mean, it's what changed my life. Between hydrogen water and clean water, you know, with the hydrogen. The next part after that is figured out how I overcame nutritional deficiency. So a lot of dietary stuff. I'm going to put my apron on here if I can figure out how to do it. This is a very weird apron, I got to say. How do we do this? It's like a puzzle. There we go. Okay. And so it was very tricky. It's taken me a very, very long amount of time. And I was almost like the canary in the coal mine because I was extremely sick. I myself was, you know, quote unquote, wouldn't even be here most likely had it not been for me figuring this stuff out. And it's just amazing to me how simple in some ways health can be. And there's different tiers that you can go. Like how far do you want to go as far as trying to improve your health? And probably the easiest thing that I've ever done, I did this on my father, and I did this on my brother, the one with the kidney problems. So what we always start out with is the cleanest water. He immediately got a carbon distiller from mypurewater.com. That's what I use. If you guys want a discount code, it's uprising144K. And yeah, it helps support the channel a little bit. But more importantly, it helps you get clean water. That is more important than anything, guys. I really want the best for people, and that's why I'm showing you guys what I've discovered that not only changed my life, my brother, who his doctor told him, hey, by the way, you will not be able to reverse this kidney disease. It's irreversible. So we better start getting ready because you're going to get on dialysis. And just so you know, typically when you get on dialysis, that's pretty much it. I mean, you're not going to get off of dialysis. I mean, the doctor himself is telling him, hey, you are going to have kidney problems and you can't heal kidneys. That's what he was told. So on my protocol, what I did with him is I said, okay, brother, look, I got a funny little story to share with you guys. And I won't make it super long. Let me just keep it super brief. Basically, I came across this guy whose father had messed up kidneys. And his father, I don't know how he discovered this, but his father, if he would drink water, he would get sick. He literally couldn't drink water. And if anybody knows anything about kidney issues, you know that they oftentimes want to limit your water because your kidneys are sensitive, right? Because your kidneys are all screwed up if you're going to be on dialysis and have kidney failure or kidney problems. So anyway, this guy discovered somehow that if he would carbon distill the water, basically what I was just showing you guys, that he wouldn't get sick when he drank the water. He did not understand why, but that's what he did. And he did it for a very long time. And eventually he did die. You know, it took a long time, but he eventually died. And I met his son because his son was actually selling his carbon distiller. This was a long time ago. And when I bought that first one, that's when a little light went off in my head. And I started researching distilled water even more. And ultimately what I discovered about carbon distilled water, which is what you see me do with my pure water system, is it just cleans the water, guys. That's pretty much it. And when I say cleans the water, don't think that a reverse osmosis or that a carbon filter is cleaning your water all the way. It's cleaning some stuff. Now, it also puts potential risks on the table because those are porous systems. I did a whole video on this just recently explaining why porous systems, they actually build up bacteria in time. The quality of the water will not be the same because the porous system, the filters basically get dirty with time. And as they get dirtier and dirtier, they actually can start growing bacteria. Plus, they don't filter everything anyway. The cleanest water. And so that's how I, started figuring out a lot of my protocols. I'm like, you know what? Super clean water. The body loves clean water. There's just, let me tell you something. You're looking for something revolutionary. It may not sound revolutionary, but clean water is a revolution. But hydrogen really is the thing that brings, in my personal opinion, the healing, because my brother could have just drank, clean water. Do you think that was going to heal his kidneys? In my personal opinion, no, I don't think it would at all. It would just be simply eliminating things that were damaging the kidneys. But if you want the healing, of course, I immediately said, brother, you need to get a hydrogen machine. So he had to order a hydrogen machine, get the super clean water. And then there's foods that I had him eliminate for sure. Now, look, I don't like to argue with people about foods and diets because everybody, to be honest, it's kind of shocking to me that people still don't understand. But the more I talk to people, the more I'm starting to realize that people really don't know. They really don't know what foods are good. Everybody's confused. Even experts claim certain things that just shock me because the data, if you really, really look at long-term data, and I don't like looking at short-term data because short-term data is misleading. Long-term data is what you really want to be because you're not going to be living a certain lifestyle just for a week. These lifestyle like the one I live is basically a lifestyle. It's for life. It's not just for a week. And so my brother, you know, his doctor didn't agree with it. I'll tell you that much. I'm not kidding. The doctor does not agree. A lot of doctors don't agree with a lot of my methods. And then I get other doctors who actually call me, literally asking what my methods are because of the blood work they've seen and results they've seen their patients have. And it's funny. When I tell them, they oftentimes are just like, you know, it's like they have a hard time believing it. And they're kind of shocked, and then they're just kind of like, well, all right, like, I guess I'm not going to be doing that. Like, they don't want to follow what works because, well, I don't know. Is it laziness? Maybe. I know, I guess, goes against some rational thinking, but in my personal opinion, I don't know how I could go against rational thinking. And what's wrong with fruits and vegetables? I mean, to me, they're literally straight up magical. This smoothie that I'm making here is, just look at the research of any of the ingredients, but this smoothie is highly anti-parasitic, which is a good thing. Highly nutritious. If you look at the research on how much fiber the body needs, it's unbelievable. This stuff is full of fiber, and not just normal fiber. Talking fiber from fruits and vegetables. A lot of Americans haven't done the research on that, but the Japanese definitely have. Sun-dried raisins soaked in hydrogen water. This is for you, Drumore. See, I poured in there with the water. Why the water? Well, not only is it super clean and it's hydrogen water, it gets sweet when the raisins soak in there. Now, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to kind of do it off camera because I don't want to move the camera, but all I'm doing is I'm grabbing the raisins and I'm going to put some again in hydrogen water because I want it to be ready for tomorrow. So I have to and the reason, why do I put them in water? Well, okay, first of all, they're dried. Another thing that most people don't know, and it's another revolutionary thing, and it's kind of one of my ideas. I've never heard anybody really talk about it, to be honest, is water is key to life. And I just clearly told you clean water and water with hydrogen. But even your food should, in my personal opinion, have water. And so dried raisins go into your body and they pull water out of your system when they're dried. So, and actually, you know what? I poured these raisins, but I'm not going to put any hydrogen water in it yet because it's still being made. It's still got a few minutes. So I'll do that in a second. And so I like my food to have water. So the raisins soak up the water. Super, super good for bringing water into the system. But raisins also have something called boron. And boron, and by the way, raisins appear to be anti-cancerous and anti-parasitic and all this good stuff. Good for heart disease. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Look at the data. It's what I don't like is when they pick out like just one ingredient and then they in something and they'll be like, see, these are bad for you. You can't do that. You got to look at the whole food. But here are walnuts that were soaked in hydrogen water also. And as I told you guys, walnuts are obviously, they were dried. And here, look, I soaked them in water. And if I wanted to enhance them, and there is some preliminary data, it appears that hydrogen actually enhances the foods. So I put them in hydrogen water. Do you have to do that? No. I mean, if I have a hydrogen generator like I do that's running quite often, then why not? But that's just me. You don't have to do it. You should see what hydrogen does for metabolism, by the way. People who are wanting to burn fat. Oh my goodness. And I've seen it. I did a video about it. There was a woman who was, yeah, she was overweight and she doesn't walk much and this kind of thing. And she started on the hydrogen water. She lost, like, I think, if I remember correctly, it was almost 40 pounds in a very short period of time, because I don't know if you guys have ever seen the data, and most people should know this, but most people don't. I think there's even a lot of physicians and doctors who don't know this. You really want to understand when you're overweight, you should see what the body actually does. It's pretty recent discovery about inflammatory markers. It was a fabulous finding, in my personal opinion. And basically what they discovered was the body will just start sending random inflammatory signals all over the body when you're overweight. The body is literally confused. And that was very interesting to me. But what I have discovered, and I'm going to soak some walnuts here too, just like the raisins. Let me grab those. But what's surprising to me is how amazing hydrogen appears to actually help regulate. And by the way, there's data to support this. So this is, I'm not just making this stuff up. Oh, what happened to my walnut? Well, look at that, guys. I gotta go downstairs to get more walnuts. Am I all out? How about blueberries? Let's check blueberries. Let's put blueberries in right now. Super good for the vascular system, good for the heart, anti-cancerous, anti-angiogenic. Blueberries are amazing, and they taste good. Of course, I get organic ones. Why? Well, I'm trying to minimize pesticides in my body. Why? Well, have you guys seen the data on pesticides? It's pretty clear that a lot of them that we know of so far. So they always say, well, we haven't tested these enough. I feel like I don't even need to have them tested, but there are some like glyphosate that we know cause cancer and that are carcinogenic. So that's what it is. Okay. So I don't know, back to there's so many directions we can go, but again, hydrogen appears to start regulating the metabolism again. And people start losing weight. I've seen this quite a few times, and there's data to support it. Wow, this is my last bag of walnuts. So glad I bought it. I almost didn't buy it the other day. And of course, they're organic, but you do what you can, guys. You do what you can. If you don't have access to organic, you just don't. You wash them as best you can, but just know that just being organic is not just about pesticides. There was another research study that actually showed that organic foods have higher walnuts. And always look at your ingredients. See, look at the ingredients here. Let's see here. Product of USA, thank God. Better than China. Where are the ingredients? Right there. Organic walnuts. That's it. Just food. There's no added sugars and, it's all the added stuff that really, personally, I think cause a lot of problems. And so again, I'm soaking the nuts for tomorrow. Tomorrow. I love you. Tomorrow. Okay, so that's walnuts. And by the way, walnuts also have been shown to be anti-cancerous. They did a study on that too. I'll be putting hydrogen water in this too, so I'm going to set this over here for now. And yes, anti-cancerous. And they tried to do, see, this is what I mean, they tried to do some extracts out of the walnuts, but they didn't work after that. So as a whole food, and this is what I mean, this is why I always say food is, in my personal opinion, just magical, because there's so many foods that do so many amazing things. And a lot of times science really doesn't even know exactly why. They try to figure it out, but they don't always figure out why. So let's see here. Let's see. My grandpa, I can't eat walnuts. Can I change to almonds? Yeah, of course. You don't have to do whatever I say. I love you tomorrow from Annie. Yeah. Yeah, if you can't, look, guys, think about this for 1 second. Let's say you are allergic to walnuts. Like I said, this is not medical advice. I'm like, you don't have to ask me, well, I'm allergic and I'll die if I eat them, so should I still eat them? It's like, clearly don't. You guys, you can modify whatever I'm showing you. What I'm trying to show you, this is the point I'm really trying to get through to you guys. It's the food that is magical. And what food? Well, first of all, non-processed food. That's kind of your first goal. And the food that I find to be most magical, as far as when I read research, is typically fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and beans. These are the foods that I've really found to be quite medicinal, depending on, of course, which one, and some more than others. But yeah, that's how simple this has basically become. I mean, it's not super complicated. Beyond that, it's, yes, and look, does diet make a change? In my personal opinion, yes. But is it really, really going to bring on some crazy healing? Like my brother with the kidney disease. Let's go back to that because somebody clearly had a question. So, he eliminated, because this is what I do. You have to understand why I do these things. People don't tend to completely understand why I do it. You have to understand what's happening in the blood. You have to understand, and I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to get it all weird and complicated and talk to you like some scientist and just confuse the hell out of you. And you're like, well, I don't get it. By the way, I'm putting ginger in here, also anti-cancerous. And I think it also helps with blood pressure. I can't remember. There's a long list of benefits of ginger. I just know it's good for you. That's how simple it's got to be. paste. I get organic ginger, try to wash it good, and then I'll peel off some of the spots that look suspicious to me. I leave some of the skin on because, believe it or not, there are certain properties in the skin of fruit, vegetables that I like to get if I possibly can. Again, this is always according to data. I don't make any of this stuff up. That's why I became so impressed with a lot of the foods, and it's just been very, very impressive. And so here we are. So I told my brother, look, I said, look, you need to get proper blood flow with proper nutrients. I mean, this is the key to health. You know, you think your kidneys are failing because they're getting proper blood flow and proper nutrients, or maybe, and you're clogging stuff up, but on top of it, okay, well, what else? Maybe your kidneys are having to work too hard. Maybe because there's chemicals in the food that you're eating, or it's too fat and your blood starts turning to like a thick sludge and you can't get it into every nick and cranny. There's even a term called ghost vessels. It's a medical term. And we literally have blood vessels where you get no more blood in. That's it. Seriously. You, especially as you age, you start getting blood in certain areas. And it's important to get blood where you need it to go. That's my whole motto. That's why hydration is so important. That's why I want water in my food. This is why I also want a lot of fiber. This is why I want to drink hydrogen water, which, by the way, they found at the #1 university in the world that researches hydrogen and uses it medically, by the way, that it opens up ghost vessels. And so I combine that with certain foods to make my blood super, super clean, good viscosity. And that's what I do with my brother. And ultimately, and of course, he had to eliminate all sorts of foods. I'm sorry to say this, but I know people don't agree. But my brother eats a lot of meat and he had to stop all the meat. You know, he had to stop all eggs, all dairy, all seafood, all meat. A lot of fiber, a lot of good clean water, fruits and vegetables. This is what we did. And yes, he did reverse his kidney disease. In fact, when he went to go see his doctor was just kind of like, whoa, wait a second. You literally reversed your kidney disease. And it was kind of like, how was that? He didn't ask much. He just literally just was like, oh, okay, well, I guess you don't need to go on dialysis. And it was kind of like, oh, that was that. Like, instead of being like, you know what, this is a miracle. How in the heck I just got done telling you couldn't reverse kidney disease, and here you just reversed kidney disease, and he didn't even. I really asked, well, how did you do it? By the way, this is a magical ingredient, flax seeds. It's been shown really good properties again for cancer, specifically for breast cancer. Was the studies that they did this one on? Really good fiber in flax seeds, and in fact, we can look up some more health benefits of flax if you guys want, because I've known flax seeds to be magical. I just make the mental note of what's good. I don't have a huge long list of all the benefits, but you know what? We're going to go through it today. Somebody remind me when we sit down and I'm drinking my smoothie to talk about flax seeds, because I want to look some stuff up. Another magical ingredient, just because it's extremely hard to find vitamin D in any food, which is why I'm going to show you how to get your vitamin D levels right. Well, again, the way that I do it. So again, no medical advice or anything, as you guys well know, but it's these leaves from beets. Magical leaves, guys. And you know what? I'm just going to throw some in there. And so, yes, so we were able to reverse that kidney disease. So, okay, with that being said, how about diabetes? So, diabetes, somebody was asking about diabetes. I have videos on it. Have I had really good success with it? Absolutely. I mean, diabetes, it really depends. It depends if you're taking type 1 or type 2. Because type 1, I have helped people basically significantly lower their amount of insulin, or I even had a person who was able to use no insulin by using hydrogen, of course. This was all because of hydrogen, not really as much as a diet. But you don't want things that are going to cause issues with the pancreas either. You want your pancreas working right. And that's been the fundamental problem. In fact, I've seen a lot of studies, a lot of blood work, and look, a lot of people disagree, but hey, the data is the data. So sorry, guys, but here it comes. People who often believe that eating nothing but meat and eggs, basically the whole keto diet thing. And this is exactly what I've been talking about. In short-term data, it looks amazing. You're like, oh, look at the blood glucose levels dropping and this, that, and the other, and everything looks amazing. The problem is it's the long term. What basically starts happening is your pancreas is just not working much, and it actually makes it worse, because once you have to start eating some type of carbohydrate or sugar, which is pretty normal to eat. And by the way, now that my hydrogen water is ready, let's make these hydrogen raisins. It's pretty simple. I'm just pouring some hydrogen water into them, and I'll show you guys, and actually the walnuts too. That's it, just pour them in there. That's it. So easy. I'm gonna put these in the fridge for tomorrow. I love you tomorrow. Actually, I'd rather love today. I want to love today. Today. Let's have a great birthday today. Actually, it's not my birthday. I didn't know anything else that would go well with that. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. So, keep moving. Let's put some hydrogen water in the smoothie right now. Why? Because if you don't put the water as you go, it will not go in and the thing will not blend properly. Plus, while it's sitting in here and all these fruits and vegetables are soaking in the hydrogen water, like I said, there's data. It appears that it enhances all these fruits and vegetables. So hey, why not enhance them? I got the water, I got the clean hydrogen water, might as well. Alrighty, moving on. Okay, next thing. Let's go with this special ingredient. This one's extremely special. This one is so important for so many people, and for so many reasons. And let's see. Kuya, hi Kuya. And Terry says, I've had kidney failure for 15 years while I was on dialysis. They told me to eat meat because I was vegetarian and needed the protein. Well, you were vegetarian and somehow you still got kidney failure. So you can see right there that just being vegetarian is probably not going to be the only thing. I think clean water, can't emphasize that enough, obviously, and proper consumption of, as far as amounts of clean water, hydrogen is really just going to take it to the next level. And there's still garbage food. Don't think that just because you eat meat, you're unhealthy. You can eat lots of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, and still have meat. Just you have to limit the quantities, and you can still be a healthy person. But when you are on what I would call a healing crisis, like my brother was, that's when you just have to go to a whole other level. I was not going to tell him, hey, just eat a little bit of it. No, we have to get your blood super, super, super clean with the proper nutrients, So I know my protocol, and it works. I've seen it work multiple times. So okay, next ingredient right here is natto. The way you activate it is by stirring it. I was a junk food vegetarian. Well, see, there you go, Terry. That's exactly my point. Thank you for being honest about that too. And by the way, to activate the natto, you have to stir it like this 100 times. But yes, that's exactly my point. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you're eating, if you eat junk food, if you're vegetarian, if you eat nothing but meat, if you're a fruitarian, whatever. You can do things in unhealthy manners, every which way. So that's why it's hard to just throw everything in a certain box. Now, obviously, I'm not into processed foods, and that's usually where the junk comes from, processed foods. This right here is not a processed food. This is just beans. They are fermented, and they're very magical. First of all, they're so full of protein, it's ridiculous. In fact, the amount of protein in this is pretty much the same as a steak. So that's a lot of protein. But these have a natural enzyme called nattokinase. Very, very amazing enzyme. I won't go into all the benefits, but maybe we could if you guys want when I sit down here. I will say that it's also a natural statin, which is super awesome. If you are taking statins, watch out if you end up eating this stuff. Consult your physician is what I would say, except most American doctors don't have a clue about this. Japanese doctors do know about it. They'll see how it's all foaming up because it's activating. The Japanese have done so many studies on this. This is like one of the most powerful superfoods in existence. It actually has been shown to oxygenate cancer cells. It's obviously anti-cancerous, lots of fiber, lots of protein, lots of vitamin K. On and on and on and on it goes. This thing is just ridiculously amazing, and that's why it goes in my smoothie every day. Plus, jam-packed, just lots of nutrients, guys. Got to get me some nutrients. This is how you can be what they call a healthy vegetarian, because you got to get your nutrients one way or another. I don't care how, but you got to get your nutrients. And your nutrients are just not the same when you just think you're going to pop a pill and it'll give you all your nutrients. It's just not the same. Okay, next thing we're going to throw in here. You know what we're going to do today? Because I got these bananas going bad. I'm going to do what I don't do very often, which is throw maybe 2 bananas in here today. And these are super ripe, super sweet. Today's smoothie is going to be very, very delicious. I am already looking forward to it. Now, what's next? Next, I'm going to throw some magical ingredient that actually causes the body to produce something called nitric oxide, and not to be confused with nitrous oxide, but nitric oxide. Why is nitric oxide extremely good for you and super important? And what's so magical is that you can literally get it from your food. And when you combine it with hydrogen, there were studies, super amazing. It just takes it to a whole other level, but it opens up your blood vessels. And that's what you want. You want your blood vessels to open up and get proper blood flow. This is very important for so many different things. What I guess people sometimes don't realize, I hope you guys realize that if you don't get blood somewhere, you're going to have problems. You know, like if there's a blockage and your blood can't flow properly, that's a problem. And I'm really into clearing up blockages, which, by the way, again, no medical claims, but I have seen it with protocols like mine, for example, where people who have blockages, they want to do a stent. That's always what doctors want to do. I don't know if you guys seen the long-term data on stents, but I hate to say this. Now, this is data, so this is not medical advice, and you guys can go read it too. They're just not really that effective. They don't really work that good. I know that they, I know that they use them and they have some effect, but they're just not that effective at fixing the problem. I'm not into putting band-aids on things. Now, if you have to put a band-aid on something, okay, put a band-aid on something temporary, like if you have high blood pressure. But at some point, my personal opinion, now you can live however you want to live, but the way that I want to live, I don't want to be dependent on pharmaceuticals. So I'm going to do the very thing that I need to do to fix the underlying problem. Blood pressure is easy. Diabetes type 2, easy. Cholesterol issues, easy. Glaucoma, a little tougher, but I've seen it done, my own father, where it just goes away. A tough one is macular degeneration. They say it's incurable, but I've already known multiple people who their macular degeneration went away by using some of my protocols. What other issues are out there? Well, a lot of people are complaining about libido, testosterone levels, just certain hormonal issues, even performance issues. And I've been doing some experiments to try to find the answers for people, and I was kind of surprised how good it's worked. And it's all part of what I'm showing you anyway. But yes, beets produce, they get the body to produce nitric oxide. Super amazing. So we're going to put some of those, and they're also good for the liver, and they're also anti-parasitic, and they also appear to be anti-cancerous, and they help the blood get more oxygenated, and on and on and on it goes, guys. So pretty simple, right? In my personal opinion, no brainer. Okay, next ingredient. One of my more magical ingredients. Let's see here. Okay. Somebody says, what does national taste like? National? Oh, natto. Natto. Tastes like fermented beans. I don't know. It depends on which kind, actually. I've purchased some that taste like buttery, and there's so many different kinds. But it's good. I enjoy it, but it takes a while to get used to. Excuse me. Terry C says, makes me laugh as I now have a transplant. Oh no. Asked my kidney doctor recently what I could do to help keep my kidneys healthy. She said nothing, just drink lots of water. No food advice at all. Smart doctors, huh? Oh my God. Anyway, Eva says, my husband Octavio Moreno says has been drinking this smoothie for the last 2 months. He is healthy, no medical issues at all. We have the equipment you say to use, but just not familiar with protocols. He never missed your new videos. Well, very cool. I mean, he's definitely, I mean, you're going to be getting the benefits. Like I said, I was sick. I had all sorts of problems. Let's see here. I had tumors. My liver was not doing good. My basically quote unquote liver problems. And again, things like fatty liver disease, cirrhosis of the liver. I've seen those things reversed with a lot of these protocols. But hydrogen is the power tool. I mean, hydrogen is the key. The rest of it is, I mean, it's extremely good for you to have enough fiber and eliminate and pull the toxins out of your body. It's amazing what fiber can do. And less than 3% of Americans consume the minimum amount of fiber required. The minimum, less than 3%. Think about that, guys. That means that over 90% of the people out there, honestly, I can't imagine the condition of their colons and just their body in general, but it would be sad. It would be borderline gross. But I like to keep my body clean, clean, clean. Lots of clean water, lots of clean food. I do the absolute best that I can do. Why? Well, because I live in this body, guys. Haven't you ever felt uncomfortable in your own skin? Like somebody was showing me, it was actually Dramore. He was probably watching the video right now. He was showing me a picture of a pizza. And he's like, well, cheese must be good for me, right? And it's got mushrooms. Mushrooms are good for me. It's almost like he was trying to justify that the pizza was good for you. Just looking at it. Now, look, I love me some pizza. Don't get me wrong. See, don't misunderstand. I do love pizza. I love cheese. I was literally a cheese-aholic. I am a cheese machine. I love me some cheese. It was very hard for me to change my ways, but for me personally, my life was on the line. It wasn't like I could just take a pill. It wasn't just like blood pressure. Like, hey, you know what? Here's a pill. It'll take care of your blood pressure issues, and then that's it. It wasn't that easy for me. I couldn't walk. I had so much inflammation all over my body. My immune system was an absolute mess, just an absolute wreck. Inflammation everywhere, so that's what's causing a lot of pain. I couldn't even hold up a remote control to change the channel. It was honestly, it was pathetic, and it's sad. I'm sad to say it, but I want to be honest with you guys because I want you guys to know, what I've been through. But yeah, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed because I used to be like an avid weightlifter, and I used to be, larger and more muscular, and people would think, oh, you must be healthy, right? And but people don't understand, just because you look a certain way doesn't mean that you're necessarily healthy. And whatever, the point is, if there was a simple fix like that, who knows? Who knows if I would have ever changed my ways? I probably would have just taken the pill, be like, okay, control my blood pressure, my diabetes, or whatever it is, and I just keep living my life because I wouldn't know any better because doctors don't tell you anything, and maybe they don't even know themselves. Who knows? All I'm getting at is I wasn't doing good, and in my case, I had no options. I had to take health into my own hands. No doctor was helping me. And I know a lot of physicians. I mean, I worked in the field, so I knew what would kind of happen, but at the same time, I was hoping that maybe there was something that they could do to help. And pretty much no. I mean, of course, they just wanted to pop me full of pain pills and anti-inflammatories and these type of things, and it was no good. It was not good, and I had to find my way. But yeah, when I saw that cheese picture, that cheese pizza or whatever, it's like, I know it's not healthy. In fact, I knew the thing about me is I know what will happen if I eat it because I've done it. You think I haven't had cheat days or don't ever eat pizza ever again? Of course not. I do have it. And I feel gross. I feel greasy. I can feel the grease literally coming through my pores. I end up getting acne. It's a very common thing whenever I eat oily food, especially oily that is heated, and especially heated like seed oils. I am totally not for seed oils. I haven't been for seed oils for a long time, but now all this data is coming out showing you seed oils are no good. And people are like, well, what about olive oil? Nope, no olive oil, no canola oil, no palm oil, no, not even coconut oil. Anything that you heat up in regards to oils turns into a carcinogen. The data is clear as day, and my body has been telling me for a very long time to not consume those things, even though I didn't listen. And I just kept doing it and doing it. And I didn't even really know, but I did know that I didn't feel right, but I didn't realize that it could potentially be harming me the way that it apparently did. Okay, chia seeds soaked in hydrogen water. These things have a massive amount of fiber. They also have protein. There's so much protein in this thing, it's ridiculous, actually, as far as the smoothie is concerned. Also, really great minerals. I soak them in the hydrogen water not only to enhance them, I do it because they can bring water into my GI system. And like I told you, it's part of the key as far as my opinion. I hear all these supposed experts, and I gotta say, I feel like it took them so long to figure this out. A lot of them are starting to pretty much preach the same thing I do, but they still don't even understand the water part. They don't understand how to make the water the cleanest. They definitely don't understand hydrogen. That's been one of my biggest issues, trying to explain it to people. And I want to help, which is why I'm doing it. But, sometimes people don't listen. And then later on, eventually they do. I've had that happen a lot, actually. Okay, next ingredient is carrots. If you've ever done any research about carrots, they are kind of another miracle, revolutionary food. They're super high in antioxidants, like way higher than the average food. Obviously, they have really good nutrients that are good for your eye health. Everybody seems to know carrots are good for your eyes, though I will say, as amazing that they are, you got to get the blood to certain areas, and in your eyes and your brain, very, very tiny little capillaries, little tiny little veins, and that's where you have to keep the blood full of nutrients, but very, very, very nice and thin. This is one of the reasons that the doctors are prescribing so many statins these days, because they're like, you gotta thin that blood out, because too many people are eating too much greasy and also sugary stuff. That's why they do it. And you don't have to. I don't want to take no statin. I mean, for one, my blood's already moving along just fine, actually, thank God. Thank you for all these wonderful foods. But also, I use that natto every day. And natto is a kind of a natural statin. So that really helps so I can get blood in every which area that I need it to or I want it to be. And I got to say, it's working. But I have a few magic ingredients I'm about to show you that are crucially important to really make this whole thing, like to just bring it all home. Something that brings it all together, kind of like you could have a wonderful car with the most wonderful suspension and the most wonderful engine and the most wonderful transmission and everything's wonderful, but it's got no tires. And then you just put the right tires on that baby and boom, it just brings it all home. So that's what I'm gonna show you some ingredients that are just gonna bring this whole thing all together. This is, is it a revolutionary thing? Look, I don't know, guys. I don't want to make any claims or anything. All I can tell you is that this has changed my life. I can now walk. I don't have the pain. In fact, I'd never be able to use these scissors before that I'm using right now because my joints just hurt so bad. I mean, again, I couldn't lift up a remote control and then push the buttons with my thumb. It would even hurt to use like a phone. It was just painful. But the worst of it was actually not my hands. I mean, it was bad, but the worst was my just not being able to walk, my back, my neck. The pain was so horrendous. And you know what? It's funny because I can't even imagine back in those days. I'm like, I just can't change. I kept thinking, I can't change. I can't change. And maybe it was being lazy. Maybe it was, I don't know. I'm not going to, I felt like, oh, do I have to relearn how can I live my life? What do I eat? I remember one person was like, they just couldn't figure out one meal without meat. I'm like, I just don't know what to eat then. What the heck am I supposed to eat? And then if they don't eat meat, they just want to fry something up. Let me fry up a tortilla and throw some cheese in it or something along these lines. You just couldn't figure out what to eat. Oh, vegetables? Okay. Should I, fry them? Should I stir fry, pan fry, saute? No. Don't want to saute my vegetables and ruin them. You can blanch them. You can boil them, steam them. You could even eat them raw, fermented, whatever. So many different ways, but you have to relearn. And I just, you know what? I didn't want to relearn. I was just being lazy, I guess. You could call it lazy. I don't know what it was, but it was probably that. I just didn't want to change. I thought what I was doing was healthy. Because I thought I actually ate pretty decent in the past, actually. But I really clearly realized that I had to do more than what I was doing. My body was in turmoil. And between the hydrogen water and getting my nutrients right and super clean water on top of it. So there is a difference between hydrogen water and just clean water. Clean water is just clean water. You want water that doesn't have any weird chemicals and crap in it. Throwing my last banana in there. But then you add hydrogen. Hydrogen is a gas. So we're dissolving molecular hydrogen. Why? Well, because there's so much scientific data that shows it's amazing. And when I started doing it, even for people like my father, I'm going to put a little more hydrogen water in here and show you the last magical ingredients. But my father, he actually didn't want to change his diet. I wish he would have because I think he'd get better results. But he had arthritis, glaucoma, some blood pressure stuff, cholesterol stuff, and kind of pre-diabetic. He was right there. And just with clean water and hydrogen, and this is why I think he got a little too overconfident, because it got rid of all this stuff. He just went off the deep end. He just goes out to restaurants and eats all sorts of, whether it's fried food or meat or whatever. And he's been doing that for quite some time. A lot of scones and pancakes. I mean, just everything. He threw caution to the wind. Like, I'll just eat whatever. All right, I just put minerals in here. That's one of the magic ingredients. Because we know that the food is mineral deficient, I add it with the fiber. See, it works everything synergistically. And I got a few more magic ingredients that are really going to finish this off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run this blender. It's going to make some noise. We're going to dump some compost. And so this blender's going to be a little loud, guys. Just bear with me. It actually blends. Look at that. Now, can you believe that? Can you believe that blender actually can blend? I mean, that thing is jam-packed, guys. I mean, jam-packed. You could not put any more stuff in that blender, and look at it. It's working. Is it a miracle? A lot of it's the order in which I do it, the type of blender I'm using, the whole deal. But it's working, so let's keep going. All right. Chopping up those vegetables. Oh yeah. Got some horsepower. Okay. I'm gonna do this one. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna have some magic ingredients today. Hey, we're gonna put some magic ingredients. Notice I don't use any pills. Everything's always powders or liquids. I don't like pills. I don't like the stuff I've seen them in lab reports, the binders, the weird stuff they put them on. But everybody loves pills. For once in a while, you have to do it, but not on the regular. All right. Chop them up. I can see that it's still chopping stuff up there. Okay, we're going to cut these with a little hydrogen water. So I like to cut the smoothies with a little bit of hydrogen water, just maximizing everything that is in there. And so that's one of my go-to moves if the water's clean. And if it's true hydrogen water, you don't want anything that changes the pH of your water. Hydrogen won't do that. Hydrogen is pH neutral, guys. You can do it. There we go. Okay, so we're almost there. What are we going to do now? We're going to add these magic ingredients. And highly, highly nutritious. Here's another one. I'm going to bring this out. Have you guys ever put marijuana in your smoothie? Well, it's from the marijuana plant, but it's the hemp hearts. So don't worry, it's not marijuana, it's just the hemp hearts. Boy, I think that thing is still chewing that stuff up. Oh my goodness. You can do it. Yeah. All right, we'll try. I have a feeling that it's not totally chewed up, but that's going to be good enough. Let's see if it spills. Oh, right at the rim. Perfect. Okay. Now, this looks quite smoothied up. Let's see here. Sometimes if I take a little bit out of here, then blend it a little more, it just gets a little nice, a little nicer. There we go. Let's taste a little bit. Oh, yes. Yes, today came out good. Okay, so we're going to show you how to really finish this off because it needs vitamin D. It's the one thing that's barely in there. Here, let's go one more time. Okay, it's all good. So here's the number one ingredient that you just can't get this from your food, guys. You cannot get this ingredient enough from your food. And the foods that do happen to have it are highly contaminated, unfortunately, and not something I would eat on the regular. And that is D3 with K2. It's always best to get it from food, but if you can't, which this is something you're just not going to be able to, in my personal opinion, you want it in its ionic form. Ionic is the second best way to get your nutrients, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, according to this, 7 is probably like 7,000 I use, and probably 7, but I kind of have a hard time believing that. But hey, that's what it says. They measure stuff. It should be okay. This particular ingredient, I probably should stop using it. It is in the blender already because it's naturally in raisins. But this stuff, yes, it's good for your bones, ligaments, muscles, brain health. Gosh, what else? Muscles, bones, brain, ligaments. But the thing about this specific ingredient is that it appears to be good for sex hormones. And this goes for both men and women. So we're talking about testosterone. We're talking about estrogen being at the proper levels like when you're younger. I did an experiment with this for even like the libido. This stuff is working with multiple people. So this stuff's working on so many levels, and all it is a mineral, and it's ionic, of course, second best way. So I'm gonna, like I said, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna put that in these smoothies because this stuff is well, it's working great. Let's just put it that way. But maybe I'll take a small break from it for a while. Okay, this next one. This one was actually a gift. You don't have to put it in there, but you could if you want to. I'm going to because it was a gift and it's chlorophyll in its ionic form. And this is found in vegetables. There's definitely health benefits to it. There's been research on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I actually really have been enjoying it more than I would have known. And normally I wouldn't buy it. And if it runs out, it runs out. It's not something I'm going to buy regularly. Okay, so the whole reason, let's see. The whole reason that I put the smoothies halfway is because I wanted to put all those special nutrients. Because see, now this smoothie has become a multivitamin smoothie with food. And let me tell you something. When you combine it with the fibers, with the antioxidants, with the phytonutrients, with everything that is magically in food from nature, and you bring it all together like this, guys, I don't know anybody else who does this. I kind of invented this method really, but it was based on data. I'm like, hey, if food does this, and I'll just tell you, it's surprising how good it's worked. And one of these days, somebody's going to come along and realize how amazing this stuff is. But for right now, we just have a small YouTube channel here, guys. It's just you and me against the world here trying to help everybody. And it'll probably never get that big, but oh well, here we go. Hemp hearts. Why hemp hearts? Most well-balanced protein in the world, because protein has a lot to do with the omega. 3s and 6s is super well balanced, and the nutrient content, if you were to look at the label on this is almost like a multivitamin all by itself. And the only ingredient is hemp hearts. There is no color number 40. There's no high corn fructose corn syrup. There is no processed food. There's nothing in here. This is pretty much just food. And I'm going to put it on here not just because of its nutrient content. It also tastes really good. But yes, I do it for the nutrient content. And we're pretty much almost done. We literally only have one last ingredient. This is what I do every morning. Now, if I wasn't on camera, it usually takes me about 20 minutes. So I do my hydrogen protocol. I do my 20 minutes. And that's what I do. Now let's try this. Oh yes. Today came out good. Okay. Let's show you the last ingredient that enhances a smoothie. Let me tell you something. Being properly hydrated, in my personal opinion, and this is based on data, enhances what we're doing here. And if it's hydrogen water, next level, guys. So that's why I drink the water. You noticed at the beginning. Took about 20, 30 minutes. And it's starting to warm up a little bit. I was all cold this morning. I guess now I can read your questions, answer them. And let's go with that. Here's the last ingredient. I'm going to inhale the hydrogen while we're doing this. And I'm going to remove my earpiece. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. And now we will answer and read your comments and all that good stuff. There was something I wanted to look up. But let's see. Maybe you guys are saying stuff I haven't been able to read. Too busy making this smoothie. Okay, let's see here. Oh, wow. Lots of comments. Okay. So I'm glad, back to Octavio, I'm glad he's doing well. And keeps it up. And here we go. Let's see. Eva Moreno says, he says a smoothie is cleaning his intestines deeply. So far, that's all he noticed. Oh yeah, they do. And remember, your intestines, your GI system, or specifically your colon, but basically is responsible for almost 80% of your immune system. So it's important. Yummy. Okay, GK. Fresh, high-quality organic olive oil for salads. Organic free-range ghee for cooking. Definitely not. The moment you heat up ghee, I know from experience, because I've cooked with ghee. I used to eat a lot of ghee too. And it still makes your blood oily and greasy. Makes me feel greasy, and then I would also break out in acne. And that's how I knew that just not quite right. Well, in fact, here, let's see if I'm wrong. I think ghee is better than butter, and I love ghee, but let's see. Okay, let's see if I can find anything on ghee here. Well, I mean, they do say consuming, and this would obviously make sense, but consuming too much ghee leads to increased weight gain, increased risk of obesity, and consuming excess saturated fat, which is directly connected to heart disease and even strokes. Well, okay. But it is rich in saturated fat, which actually clogs the arteries, and that's exactly the point I was just making. It clogs things up because your blood gets all greasy and thick, and then things don't move right. And if blood doesn't move right, just like water, if it's not moving right, things start getting clogged up. And then when you heat it, let's see here. They even say people with fatty liver disease should actually avoid ghee. But I love ghee. Now, if you have certain health conditions, you should actually avoid ghee also. But that's if you have certain conditions. Let's see. Anybody who has heart issues, now remember, heart disease is almost one of the #1 killers. Liver-related ailments would be another issue. And people with obesity, whatever, and pregnant women with digestive issues. Because, let's see, why with digestive issues? Well, indigestion, bloating, constipation. It is advisable for pregnant women to reduce ghee consumption because they frequently experience indigestion and bloating. Oh, okay. But I gotta tell you, I love ghee. Once in a while I'll have a cheat day and I'll have some, but not on the regular. Let's see here. Let's see what I can find. Let's see. So it does have so ghee does have a higher smoke point, unlike other oils. Let's see. Studies. Oh, they did some studies. National Institute of Health. Good. Oh boy, it's a long study. I'd have to really, really read for a while. Let me see if I can just find their conclusion here. The results. It's tasty. Okay, when you heat the ghee, you form more peroxides. Interesting. Let's see. Peroxides. Interesting. See, I can just feel it is my big thing. I mean, I do look at data, but I don't know how much I can find. Let's see. But I do think it's going to be one of the better choices if you're going to eat something like that. Yeah, it'd be too long to read this whole thing. Man, this is long. But it's great that they did some of these studies. I'll have to look into this later. But that's just, butter is not recommended for breast cancer. Now, here's the other issue: is the hormones in food. There's clear data on how hormones are affecting our bodies, which is why I don't eat stuff with hormones in it. That's why no dairy, no seafood, no meat, no eggs. But once in a while, I will have some, but just not on the regular is all. Let's see here. And olive oil, as long as it's not heated. If it's cold pressed, if it's 100%, I might use it very, very, very lightly on a salad. I won't, but some people could. But definitely not a lot. It is a seed oil, and it is a processed oil, so too much. The body just, walnuts have natural oil in them. How many walnuts would I have to crush to make like a tiny little shot of oil? It's just out of balance in my personal opinion, guys. But anyway, do whatever you want to do. But my brother with the kidney issues, we eliminate all that stuff. Got to keep the blood super clean. How did you come up with this smoothie recipe? What will it do to your body? Oh my gosh. Well, I've done videos where we've gone over every ingredient in it. Sometimes I don't even remember how I came up with it. It just took time. But one, it's all about getting nutrients, hydration, the minerals, the vitamins, lots of fiber. The body needs so much fiber, it's unbelievable. But also the big thing I think was when I read a study from Japan about what the body does when it consumes vegetables first thing in the morning. And I kept thinking, how am I going to get vegetables in my body first thing in the morning? I don't want to eat vegetables for breakfast. And then in time, I came up with this method, and obviously there's tons of vegetables in here, and this tastes so good. So Eva Moreno says, have had natto the traditional Japanese way in steamed rice. Yes, I love that. I do that a lot. They add soy sauce, which I don't, and green onions. Yes, green onions would be good. I do not add soy sauce to it. If it was an extremely clean soy sauce, you can put a little bit. I don't like to have too much salt. The data's pretty clear on salt. Can diabetics eat with all the sugary dried fruits? Can diabetics eat this with all the sugary dried fruits? Okay, Eva, this is what's going to surprise you. And try to look, you can go look, in fact, go to, there's a really great doctor on a YouTube channel called nutritionfacts.org. He just shows studies. When you combine the sugar, so the sugar, processed sugar, and sugar from a fruit or vegetable, the body processes it differently. It's not the same. And when it's combined with fiber, and in this particular way, it won't give you like just a spike, like a soda pop or something. It gives you more of a steady number. And vegetables first thing in the morning were shown to actually help regulate blood glucose all day long. That was the whole reason I wanted to do the vegetables in here. And the Japanese discovered that the reason they would do it, because they didn't know why. And the reason was because of the fiber. Specific things in fiber from vegetables go into certain parts of your colon, these little pockets, and they help regulate blood glucose throughout the entire day. It's unbelievable. So I get your question. And too many people, they hyper-focus on oh, it's just sugar. No, all the sugars are not the same. You still have to monitor your blood glucose. But I'll tell you, if you follow lots of hydrogen water and something like this, in my personal opinion, and I've seen diabetes go away. Not type 1, but type 2. Type 1's different because type 1 typically your pancreas is not even working. So that's different. Let's see, Agneta says, have you heard of medical medium? Yes, and yeah, I don't believe one bit that he is a psychic medical medium. Sorry to say. If he was, he would definitely have learned about hydrogen a long time ago because the spirits would have told him. And whatever, But I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but I don't believe that he is a medium. I don't think the spirits are going around telling him to tell people what to eat. I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. But remember, I'm a skeptic, guys. I need a lot of data to really prove things. But that's what served me well. Learning about the data and learning in ways to apply it into my life have worked infinitely better than anything I would have ever thought in my life. And that's also, different people's opinions. Don't think I didn't see gurus or mediums about my issues. Nobody helped me. I had to do this really on my own. Anyway, Christiana says, what do you think the best way to get fat is as a vegan? Heard it's good for your brain. Do you really think there's no fat in here? I'm getting fat. I mean, geez, what ingredient do you want me to pull up? I'll tell you one right now would be the hemp hearts. There's healthy fats in these hemp hearts. How about the walnuts? There's healthy fats in there. How about the flax seeds? Healthy fats in there. There are healthy fats in here. I don't like processed fats, and I don't like fats that come with hormones. You can also do avocados. Avocados are really great too. I eat a lot of different nuts. Pistachios, macadamia nuts, walnuts. I have pecans. I mean, I use a lot of different nuts. In fact, let's see here. Let's go with, I wanted to check this one out. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about flax seeds. Not flaxseed oil, but actual flax seeds, which we threw in here. Okay, so they do have a good amount of protein again, fiber. See, these are the things that I'm really wanting. Omegas, omega-3 fatty acids. It appears that it may actually lower your risk of some cancers, help maintain weight, and reduce cholesterol and blood pressure. Okay. It is absolutely loaded with nutrients though. They has healthy fats. There we are about fats again. Fiber, protein, thiamine. Ooh, lots of thiamine, lots of copper, manganese, magnesium, phosphorus, selenium, zinc, B6, iron, folate. I mean, this is what I mean. I always go for nutrition. Some people will just hyper focus on, how about just protein, or how about just this? Your body is not just a finger, it's not just an arm. It's made up of a lot of components, and you really want everything to be at its optimal level. Let's see, they've even did studies on it for heart disease, lower cholesterol levels, and for type 2 diabetes. Look at that. Yummy. Let's see, how about help against cancer? So flax seeds is rich in something called lignans, I guess, which are plant compounds that have been studied for their potent cancer-fighting properties. There you go. It has anywhere from 75 to even 800 more times more lignans than other plant foods. And what they showed, and this is what I remember reading actually, is that it showed a reduced, let's see here, flax seeds were associated with a lower risk of breast cancer, particularly in postmenopausal women. See, super important. Let's see. Wow, they even did studies on it for colorectal cancer, skin cancer, blood cancer, and lung cancer. Wow. Those were on animal studies though. But yes, wonderful stuff. I mean, that's why I put it in here. Okay, lots of fiber, we get it. Lower cholesterol, I get it. Lowering blood pressure. Okay, here we go. And a lot of this stuff helps with blood glucose levels. Flax seeds may stabilize blood sugar levels and promote blood sugar control. And that's just one food here. And they have cited all the studies. And yeah, so there you go. That's flax seeds for you. Okay. Agneta, my doctor want me to take statin. I don't. I have too much synthetic medication. I'd like to take a little bit less. Well, look, I'm not going to say you should or shouldn't take statins. You know, do whatever you want. But as I told you already, it is helpful when you thin the blood. So if you took natto, it works like a statin every day, you know, like I take it every single day. Also, less fatty and greasy food is going to help you. The more butters and milks and, again, dairy and seafoods and meats and eggs and all these things, I know that they have healthy properties to them. And I'm not saying never to eat them either. I'm just saying that often your veins are going to get clogged up, and then that's why doctors want to prescribe you statins. Butter isn't okay to warm and make on stove? No. No, again, because once you heat an oil, it turns into a carcinogen. That's just what happens. GK, I told you anyway, don't fry food with any oil. No stir fried, pan fried, deep fried, nothing. Steam your food, boil your food, fermented food, raw food. You don't need to be cooking with oil. I think it's one of the worst things we've done for our health, other than adding sugar to everything. GK, I wonder if high levels of usage of soy in Japanese foods don't mess up their estrogen levels. There is data already on this, GK. And they actually discovered, this is something that's very, very interesting. They discovered that soy doesn't affect the body the way they thought, because they actually discovered that the body has different estrogen receptors. It's a big discovery, and the narrative about soy being bad for estrogen or whatever didn't even make any sense, because Japanese had such low, for example, breast cancer rates, almost non-existent back in the day. Japanese eat tons of soy, and they live longer than anybody of any industrialized nation in the world. And soy is just a bean. I don't see how beans are not good for you. The data on beans is pretty clear. Christiana Umemhofer says, do you eat cookies? What kind or how would you make them? So I used to be known for being a cookie monster, and no, I no longer eat cookies. I would say like once. So see, here's the thing. I live a certain way. I live healthy pretty much almost all the time. But then once in a while, I'll have a cheat day. So sometimes my mother makes these cookies or scones, and they do have dairy and stuff like this. And I see her making them, and over 90% of the time I will not touch them. And then once in a while I'll be like, all right, cheat day, I'll have one. And having one once in a while I don't think is a huge deal. It's the regular that's the problem. Every day you have them, or multiple times a week you have them. You know, it's funny, when I go to the store, I kid you not, I'm very observing, and I observe, like, for example, people's carts. So many pastries and cookies and empty carbohydrates, you know, which is just a lot of sugar with really no nutrients. And I see that a lot. I'm actually surprised how much I see it in people's carts. Okay. Eva said, and by the way, as far as making healthy ones, Christiana, you could probably, I'm not a chef, you could probably just Google healthy, you know, cookie recipe or something. You could probably look like vegan or raw vegan or something like that. But even vegan stuff is not always healthy. So just saying, if you want to find some ideas. Eva says, how would hydrogen help someone who drinks alcohol? Oh, a great deal in my personal opinion. Let's see. I mean, I've already remember reading the studies about it. But here's the thing. We know that hydrogen, I'll just say, it appears that hydrogen is extremely protective. That's the reason that I use it. It's not just to protect against alcohol, it's to protect against anything that might be coming into my body. They have studies on radiation. They have studies on certain things that are toxic. Like I just did a video on it yesterday, which was about cisplatin, which is a very toxic pharmaceutical drug. They use it for cancer, but they rarely use it because it's so flippin' toxic that it destroys your kidneys. And they were showing how hydrogen can actually protect the kidneys from this drug, which is amazing, because the whole reason they can't use it is because if they use it, not only does it destroy your kidneys, you immediately then are going to need a kidney transplant on top of the cancer that you're already dealing with. It's an absolute mess. And so hydrogen has shown to protect, even the National Institute of Health talked about this, it helped with the cytotoxicity of alcohol. And the simple answer, like if I'm going to drink alcohol myself, you know, I have friends and people get social, I will load up, I will have about this much hydrogen water before the alcohol. And then after the alcohol, a lot of times I'll just have more hydrogen water also. And if I can inhale while I'm drinking, even better. So very, very protective would be, that's why I use hydrogen for a lot of its protective properties, not just its hydration, not just its antioxidants, not just what it does for fats. I mean, so many things, but amazing stuff. I wouldn't want to live without my hydrogen. Okay. Christiana says, did you say fruit mixed with sugar processes differently in the body? Well, it depends. If you made a cookie with fruit and some organic raw sugar, would it process differently in the body? Okay, so here's the data on this. You're still talking about adding sugar to your food. Okay, you know I'm not a fan of this. Not if you're trying to get healthy, but I will tell you this, and there is a study, there is research on this, and it's really amazing. If you take, let's say for example in this particular case, and this works for food, but I'm going to use alcohol because alcohol can make your blood glucose spike up too, by the way. They did a study where they would take, let's say, so much alcohol. Let's just say it was like tequila or something. Or actually, wait a second. No. Let me tell you this part of the study. This was actually better. They would take this much water and just add processed sugar. So it was just sugar water, kind of like Coca-Cola or whatever. Person would drink it and they would measure their blood glucose. Spike, drop, whatever. Then they would take exactly the same amount of water. And you can guess what you think it would do, because everybody was shocked. All the scientists who did the study, it was hard to believe. I was shocked when I read this study. They took the water, added sugar just like before, everything exactly the same, but then they added 100% juice, and I think it was orange juice. But they used, I believe, multiple different types of juices. The juice has natural sugar from the actual fruit. So what do you think would happen? My guess would have been that you'd have even more blood glucose, like higher levels in the blood. But that is not what happened. They literally added more sugar because adding fruit, and it actually got lower blood glucose and controlled it better. It was unbelievable. It just shows you, yes, if you add, like even alcohol. So there was a study with alcohol. If you combine fruits, so whenever I make beverages for friends and whatnot, I always add fruit. In fact, I put like frozen blueberries as almost like an ice cube. I put frozen peaches sometimes, frozen mangoes, all sorts of different types of fruit. Add the alcohol, and I always choose the cleanest and best alcohol for your health, which is 100% silver agave tequila. It's the number one, and it has to be 100% agave. If it's not 100%, it's not the same. They have all these fillers. And then I'll add like a lemon or a lime, I'll squeeze it in there. I'll add chia seeds. I'll try to add all these things to it, and then just carbonated water, just to make it like kind of a fun drink. But on the study, they found when you would combine fruits with alcohol, significantly minimize a lot of the negative effects. So what this is showing you is that fruits and vegetables in a lot of ways are protective to the body. Hydrogen is protective to the body. And even your proper nutrients protect the body, like vitamin D, even glutathione. Believe it or not, these things protect your body. I could tell you one other study that was really fascinating, and it's real quick. Basically, if you go through something traumatic, whether it's like a car accident or even going through surgery, that's traumatic for the body when they start cutting into you. When they do this, your vitamin D levels drop in half within 50-something seconds. In half. So your body's utilizing it somehow for a purpose when you're going through something traumatic. And I believe that it's protecting you. And there's data on the way it protects against cancer. And on it goes, Okay. So I don't know if these are answering your questions. I'm trying. But Agneta says, flax seeds, do you use whole? I'm not sure if you saw the video, Agneta, but yes, I use whole flax seeds. I don't use the powders. I don't use them when they're ground up because I believe there's properties in them. Once you grind them all up, those properties begin to be oxidized. So I want to grind them up and have them fresh in my smoothie. Let me go grab more smoothie, actually. This is really good. Delicious, nutritious. I inhale the hydrogen because it opens up the ghost vessels, allows my nutrients to go into the deeper parts of the body. If there's any oxalates in my food that might not be good, I believe hydrogen's active. There is data already, but it appears hydrogen can protect you from the negative effects of that. And just on and on it goes, There's reasons why I do what I do. I just make stuff up. Like I said, I've been going off of data, and it's served me quite well. Okay. Okay, so Christiana says, okay, so on occasion, when I make cookies, I will add fruit. You know what I would actually add to cookies is I would add walnuts, some type of nut. I would also probably add something like maybe raisins. I would maybe add something like, you can add mangoes. I mean, mangoes, they have so much water. You have to use dried mangoes, and a lot of times they add sugar to these things. Try to get fruit that doesn't have anything added to it. Like just raisins or just raisins. I see too many mangoes where literally on the label it says sugar is added to the mangoes, and I'm thinking, why? Because I found other mangoes that are 100% just dried, and they're really good. You don't need to add sugar to this stuff. I don't get why they want to add sugar to everything. Anyway, absolutely bonkers. All right, what other ingredient were we talking about? Well, actually, somebody was asking about fats. Okay, let's see here. Now, see, people ask about such stuff, and I believe even celery has fat. Look at that, even celery. I bet you almost every ingredient I have. So celery has fat. You know, I think almost every ingredient, people are like, well, how do you get your fats? Carrots have fat. I mean, almost every food seems to have it. Well, I guess it says, let's see, the amount is low though. It is low. But what type of fat? Because it's 0.1 gram for one medium-sized carrot. Yeah, it's low. But then look at all the stuff I'm putting in here, all of it together. There's definitely fats in here. Otherwise, how am I maintaining my fat levels? Okay. High Country Gold says, we were talking about collagen a few days ago. And at 56, I can definitely say it works great. All my hair grew back and gray almost gone. Fine lines gone. Hey, there you go. Good for you, High Country. I don't know if you're just talking about the hydrogen water or if you're also doing the hydrogen smoothies, but very cool, very cool. And, okay, let's see. I got one quick question here. Let's see. Peroxide. Everybody wants to talk about hydrogen peroxide. Nope. Okay. Well. All right, guys. I think that's probably it for today. Unless you guys have any last questions. K-Gel says tinnitus. I think we already talked about this. Did you actually, was that you who commented before? Ringing or buzzing noise in one or both of your ears. I personally think it depends on the person because maybe it's being caused by different issues. But I have had people tell me it's kind of weird, but there are actual benefits from the hydrogen for stuff like this. Here, let's see. Let's see if I can find anything. Some studies have actually revealed that molecular hydrogen protects hair cells of the hearing system through an antioxidant effect and ameliorates hearing. So look at that. It actually appears to help with hearing loss, but anything associated with the ears, I think that, you know, if hydrogen's gonna help, it could potentially help tinnitus. You also want to make sure to clean your ears really good. Sometimes you're just not cleaning your ears correctly. We have to all learn how to maintain this body. I've definitely learned how. I don't show you everything that I know, but I try to show you the big stuff. Yeah, so there you go. I think it would help, but that's just my personal opinion. Okay, Agneta said something, I think, in German. High Country says, doing hyperbarics, smoothies, and hydrogen water. There you go. You're doing some of the right stuff there. I'm glad you're getting good results. I'm glad you're feeling great. I'm happy for you. That's the whole purpose here. Eva Moreno says, Is this all you eat, a smoothie, or you add more food to your diet? Well, it depends, but usually this is, I mean, look, no matter what I eat later, this is all my nutrients. Even my dinners. I show my dinners, I've shown videos, little clips of what I'm eating for the day. It's funny because my dinner is not really where I'm gonna get all my nutrients. This is where I get my nutrients. Dinner is just a bonus. And I pretty much live off of these for breakfast and lunch. Dinner is when I have a solid meal. So yes, this is what I live off of. Now remember, what's in this? I mean, it's jam-packed with all sorts of nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruits. I mean, and superfoods, the powders, the drops with nutrients. I mean, this stuff is just super, super nutritious and tons of fiber. Our body needs fiber. In fact, let's see here. Let's see if I can find something because this is going to be data that is extremely hard to find. I'd have to go back and find the study that I originally read. Okay, let's see here. The minimum amount that we really need is like 35 grams of fiber per day. And that's minimum. The average American gets about 15 grams. 15, when the minimum is like 35. But how much do we really need? And this is the part where, you know, the government or supposed specialists will tell you 25 to 35 to 38 grams of fiber per day. But that's according to WebMD and whatever, but that's not what the studies truly showed. That's why I don't know why they don't really talk about that. We needed something ridiculous like, I mean, don't quote me on this one because I want to find the real numbers. But I believe we needed something like 80 to 100, you know, to really have things working properly. Because the benefits of fiber, guys, do you understand? Do you even have I don't even know if you really truly understand what fiber does for you. You know, let's see. Let's just see if I can even find, because let me just see here. Okay, because by the way, all fiber is not created equal. Fruits and vegetable fiber is very different. So I'll tell you a few things that fiber does. Helps regulate blood glucose. There you go. Somebody was asking about, well, is it really safe to eat this if there's sugar in it? If it's paired with fiber, because fruits and vegetables, you know, they're paired with the fiber. Let's see here. There's so many benefits. I don't want to just like go off the basic ones, which is like, oh, it helps maintain healthy weight, helps lower your risk of diabetes, heart disease, some types of cancer. I found stuff where fiber actually helps pull out heavy metals out of the body. Obviously, it helps keep your system clean. It's good for like heart disease. I mean, let's see what else. There's so much stuff. I'm trying to find. Oh, it's extremely good for your gut microbiome. Absolutely necessary. The Japanese are making huge leaps in really pointing this out. Helps with moving your bowels, obviously, which is going to be really, really good. It does make you feel fuller. I mean, this really fills me up. Yes, it can lower high blood pressure, help balance cholesterol levels, prevent blood glucose, sugar spikes. But basically is associated with lower risks of disease in general. And the biggest ones are heart disease. Remember, heart disease is one of the #1 killers. Type 2 diabetes, do you have any idea how many people have diabetes in this country? And colorectal cancer. Those are just some. And those are some of the worst, you know, crazy stuff there is. But yeah, you need, I'm telling you right now, you need a pretty decent amount of fiber. I worked with, oh my gosh, so many people with gut issues. Yeah. And the thing is, how do you get that amount of fiber? That's the question. Like, hey, how can I do it? Because I thought the same thing. It's just not possible. That's why I invented this smoothie too. Feels like this is an infomercial for smoothies. Drink your smoothie. Blah, blah, blah. You know. Okay, let's see. It also helps with weight maintenance. There's, what else can we find here? Longer life, did you know that? They found that people who ate more fiber, and that includes soluble and insoluble fibers, actually lower their risks of dying, including cardiovascular disease and cancer. Seems to lower your risk. And so pretty awesome. It seems to protect you from dying. And it is an all-natural detox. This is the thing. People are always trying to buy these products for detoxing. Forget all the stupid trends, guys. This is why I stick to like the basics. You know, I don't jump on trends. Fiber naturally scrubs and promotes the elimination of toxins from your GI tract. This is so important. Do you understand that your GI stuff gets in your blood? Blood gets carried all over your body. Soluble fiber soaks up potentially harmful compounds, such as excess estrogen and unhealthy fats, before they can actually be absorbed by the body. Woohoo! Every single day. And because insoluble fiber makes things move along more quickly, it limits the amount of time that chemicals, even things like mercury and pesticides, that can just otherwise stay in your system, it's moving them along. So the faster they get through you, they don't just sit there and soak into your system. It's also apparently really good for bones. Some types of soluble fiber, actually, they're even known as prebiotics. So they have actually been shown to increase, and here we go, this is some of the data that I was telling you guys about. It increases the bioavailability of minerals. That's why I add my minerals, not to my water, but to my smoothies. Because this is how I'm gonna get these mineral absorption. In fact, there were studies where people's bones were rebuilding and they didn't even expect to see that. They're like, whoa, fiber, guys. I cannot emphasize this enough. And it also helps get better absorption of calcium. And basically just the nutrients that you eat. That's another reason that I inhale the hydrogen and with the fiber. This whole thing, I mean, I'm not doing this, again, just out of guessing. This stuff works, and there's data to support it. The increase in bioavailability may help maintain bone density, according to a 2018, you know, blah, 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 blah study. Also beneficial for gut bacteria. And they found prebiotics that are in foods that provide benefits to gut bacteria, such as fruits, vegetables, nuts, whole grains, things like asparagus, bananas, walnuts, onions, legumes, wheat, and oats. But some of the stuff I know that some people can't eat, and some of them they spray the crap out of them. I'm not really a huge fan of too many oats. I'm not, again, I don't eat a lot of them. Mostly try to stick to fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and beans. Mostly. Okay. I guess I'm not gonna beat that dead horse anymore. But I can tell you how important fiber is for you guys. But nobody's gonna say that they recommend the amounts I would recommend. I mean, a dietitian will tell you probably 35 grams for a woman, 38 grams for a man. But I probably do more than that. I've never calculated. I've actually never calculated it. But a lot of people also don't know that when you have fiber, you actually will burn more calories with zero effort. So that's something. You know, your cholesterol will go down too, your bad cholesterol. So that's interesting. There's studies that even show about energy rising, and some people say your skin will glow, and it does show that decreased inflammation. You are going to sleep better, and less bloating, and longer life, and good bacteria in the body. You know, all these things. Hypertension dangers go down. We already know about cancer risks going down, and just being more regular. So yeah, guys, fiber, can't emphasize enough. Okay, I guess I'll say goodbye soon. Ella says, so 3 quarts of hydrogen water is your basic protocol. As I said at the very beginning, I thought I made it super clear. I drink 1 liter empty stomach before my smoothies, but then I also do another liter before lunch on an empty stomach, and I also do another liter before dinner, empty stomach. And sometimes I'll do half a liter instead of a whole liter if I feel like that, but I'll drink it throughout the day if I find I want some hydrogen water. I just feel like I need it. I can always kind of feel when I'm dehydrated. Do you use prebiotics? Nope. I honestly don't think, I think it's a waste of money. I mean, you can do them and whatnot, but read the data on it. They don't tend to really live in the gut very long anyway. They kind of go through. Do they have some benefits? Sure. I think they're usually short-lived. I think that putting the proper food in your gut, and by the way, hydrogen. You know what hydrogen? Here, let me see. You know, because hydrogen's amazing for the gut, by the way. And it is a great modulator of gut microbiota, as they say. But the benefits of it helping produce good bacteria, and it's an often overlooked benefit. And there are studies showing its amazing effects on helping with good gut bacteria, or what we would also call just beneficial gut bacteria. The studies are really long, but I just use fruits, vegetables, and hydrogen. I mean, I don't need to be buying. No, to answer your question, I do not use prebiotics or probiotics. Eva says also, how can I help my uncontrollable high blood pressure? Well, Eva, you know I don't give medical advice, so, and I feel like I've kind of been saying what I do all along, and I don't have any blood pressure issues, but I mean, I would eliminate, if you have super, super high blood pressure, I mean, what I would do, again, not medical advice, because I don't know your whole medical history or whatever, and I'm not going to give medical advice either in this situation. Well, let's ask Eva questions. Go ahead, Eva. Tell me, do you eat, in fact, just tell me what, and be honest, tell me what you ate for breakfast today, or what you did for your morning routine. We'll go into that. People with IBD condition have to avoid fiber in order to avoid scratching colon wall. Would this smoothie harm them during the flares? You know, personally, look, I'll give you one example. I knew somebody who had, actually multiple people. I've known people with Crohn's disease, celiac disease, and I recently worked with somebody who has irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. And they have had issues since they were little. Doctors told them that she needed surgery. It was another nightmare what she's had to go through, and nobody could ever fix it. She started doing, and again, please, this is not medical advice, so I don't know each one of your issues. She started doing the hydrogen water and the smoothie thing. Her issues are gone. And this is something that nobody could fix in her entire life. She can't believe it. So that tells you anything. And that's one of many examples. Eva, do you have a background or degree in chemistry since you know so much? You know, my background, there's so many things that I have knowledge on, but they're very specific things. And health is not, I very much self-educated. And that's usually what I do. I mean, I went to college and I started going to college. I literally started going to college when I was 13. I started riding the bus there and taking classes and whatever, you know. But I'll tell you, I hate to say this, for me personally, I felt that college was a huge waste of my time. I started learning way more when I left college. I started reading on my own, started researching things on my own, and I learned way more than I ever did in school. So I don't care about degrees, to be quite honest with you. I know that probably sounds negative, but I'm not trying to be negative. That's just my experience. And I'm a very, very independent thinker. So I would probably be more apt to wanting to teach at a college than actually go to see what they want to tell me. But I feel like they're always behind. They tend to be behind. So on the latest stuff, a lot of times I find they're just not totally up to date. So anyway, not a fan. Eva says, right now, just hydrogen water and my levothyroxine, which is my thyroid medicine. Yeah, but what are you going to eat, Eva? If at this point all you've had is water, that's great, but were you going to have for breakfast? Or what did you have for breakfast later? You know, or what did you have for breakfast yesterday? What did you have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner yesterday? You can tell us that if you want. I don't know if it'll be hard to remember, but if you want to tell us, go for it. I don't think fasting till 3 p.m. is a good idea, personally. No, it just depends. Actually, I would say it depends. Because there's data that's pro and against. Fasting's great, but everything within reason. And I know it looks good sometimes on paper, but there's actually some interesting new data, even in regards about cancer. But I think breakfast is very important. That was very delicious. I still want more, but I'm gonna actually save it for later. I'll show you guys how I seal it if you guys want to know how I seal my smoothies. My friend's blood pressure came down very fast with Hydrofix Hydrogen and few homeopathic remedies. Yeah, the hydrogen, I've seen it do amazing things for blood pressure. Absolutely. That's why, I mean, I'm trying to get Eva to tell us because I want her to see what she's doing. I'm not trying to do this to pick on her. If I ask her, you know, I had a small sushi roll I made myself with veggies. Okay. Let's just make it easier, Eva, because this is going to take forever. So, let's start with your height and weight. Go ahead and tell us your height and weight. Let's start with that. If you really want to, either that or you can email me, but I won't have time to call you today. It's the weekend. After I'm done with this, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to enjoy my weekend. We could even do a whole consult if you wanted to. But blood pressure is easy. Blood pressure is an easy one to fix. Unless you have anger problems. People who get angry a lot can have blood pressure too high too. But yeah, blood pressure is easy. If that's your issue, super easy. Okay, 52140. Okay, and let's see here. Do you eat any of the following foods? Eggs, meat, dairy, or seafood? We'll wait for your answer on that. Now remember, none of this is medical advice. I don't know your medical history, and I'm certainly not going to tell you what to do, but I could ask questions and tell you what I would personally do. You can also maybe tell us your age and how long you've had your blood pressure issues. Let's see here. I'll tell you one thing. If you make smoothies like this and hydrogen water that's clean, you're actually gonna have to watch out because I've had numerous, and by the way, I've had a lot of experience with people with blood pressure issues. They started doing my protocols. I had one woman tell me all her life practically, blood pressure issues, and it would only get worse. And the doctor kept increasing her medication, and eventually the doctor said, look, I cannot give you any more medication. This is as high as dose as we can go. And they're barely controlling her blood pressure. She started doing my protocol, the hydrogen part of it. Her blood pressure dropped so low, she just couldn't even believe the results. She bought a new device to check her blood pressure. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna run my blender with water to clean it. Give me 1 second, guys. Smoothie. All right. You guys want to see how I preserve my smoothie? Let's see here. Let's show you how I preserve my smoothie. Yes, seafood, dairy, just cheese. Oh, that's not going to help you. And some meat. Yeah, you're pretty much eating all the stuff that you probably shouldn't, it sounds like already. For blood pressure at least. And you get angry. Let's see here. Let's seal up this jar. This helps to keep all the nutrients in for my smoothie. Okay, so all you do is you put the lid on, put this guy on. Oops, wrong size. I was trying experiments yesterday. There we go. Lock it in place. There we go. This is going to help preserve our nutrients here. Okay, so let's see here. Yes, I do get angry. Yes, seafood. Yes, dairy, cheese, and some meat. Yeah, I would, Eva, it all depends, in my personal opinion, how badly you want to fix your blood pressure issues. Here's another question. Do you fry any food? Stir fried, pan fried, deep fried? Cook with any oils? Any. You know what? We should do an experiment, Eva, if you're willing to put in the effort. Be a very, very simple experiment. You go on the type of diet that I do and the hydrogen protocol that I personally follow, just what I do. Now, granted, this is hopefully you don't have any allergies or anything weird that I don't know about. And you're on pharmaceuticals, which means you're going to really have to monitor, especially if you're on high blood pressure medicine. You're going to have to monitor your blood pressure because the success that I've seen, you have to literally be cautious because I tell people and they don't listen. I've told people and then they say things like, well, I just didn't think my blood pressure was going to be affected. All of a sudden it's dropping way too low and they're getting dizzy. They didn't even realize it because they hadn't listened. And then they realized their blood pressure was going too low because all these methods were working and they were able to get off the pharmaceuticals. So if you're willing to do that and everybody can listen and watch and see how these methods do work. Okay. GK, Aconite Homeop remedy is against anger too and helps with blood pressure. He took only 2 times 1 pill under tongue. What if your blood pressure gets too low? Well, so here's the thing. If you are on medication for blood pressure and you start following all this and your blood pressure is getting too low, then you have to talk to your doctor. And I'm only going to assume he's probably going to back off the medicine and lower. That's what happened with this one woman I worked with. They kept lowering her medication until she was just completely off her blood pressure medication. So Eva says, but I do like white wine on a daily basis. Not so much meat. Salmon, same thing. That's the other thing that people don't realize. Salmon, let me tell you right now about seafood. Seafood, fish included obviously, is filled with so many crazy stuff, but specifically heavy metals. But they also have a lot of other things. And look, I love fish and I'll have fish every once in a while, but I do not do it on the regular, not even close. And the studies came out of UCLA. I've known numerous people who start eating that way, and when they get tested for heavy metals, they're just off the charts. It's unbelievable. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. White wine, try to get organic. They spray the crap out of grapes. I'm not gonna really say anything about you drinking alcohol. I don't think, well, let me see. I don't think there's particularly, I don't know how much alcohol you drink, but alcohol, if you drink a lot of it, can raise blood pressure, but I don't know how much you're drinking. And if you are, I would drink hydrogen water before and maybe even some afterwards. And inhale, like I'm inhaling right now. I inhale a lot when I eat. Eva says, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, Dre Moore says, guys, I have something to say. Eva says, badly. I don't fry, but I cook with extra virgin olive oil. Well, anytime you use an oil and you're cooking with it, it's going to heat it up. So that's already a problem right there too. Too many seed oils. You're doing, you know what, Eva, to be honest, you're saying a ton of stuff that you're doing wrong. I hate to say that, in my personal opinion. I don't like to say it like that. It sounds negative. But from cheese regularly to alcohol regularly, to meat sometimes, to fish sometimes, to heating oils. I mean, of course you're gonna have high blood pressure. I mean, I'm not surprised at all after all that, you know? It's really not that hard, sorry to say, but if you really want to fix it, I don't think it's hard. Okay, Dramor, what do you got to say? He says, I have been doing this for 1.5 weeks with Hydrogen Man's help, and it is revolutionary. Just do it, kind of like Nike. Yeah, Dramor, I'm really glad that you're having your results, dude. And then Terry C said, that's cool, Dramor, good for you. Smoothies, everything, it all works. I mean, it's the data. It's not even me. It's just the way nature really, I think, designed us to be. Dramor, do you have health issues? No health issues besides having to go to physio for flat feet. Supposedly needed foot surgery. Now that is on hold. Feel like $1 million and I was healthy. Nice to hear. Can't imagine what others go through. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Dramor. You can tell them you used to be what, 200 and I don't know, 80 pounds or 90 pounds or something, and now you're 100 and I think 80 something. I was already doing smoothies for 5 years. Kale, carrots, lots. Eva says 2 to 3 glasses, and I do drink the hydrogen water before and after. There you go, that's good. 2 to 3 glasses. That's the thing about wine. I mean, some glasses can hold almost a whole bottle. And then there's little glasses. I don't know what kind of glasses you're talking about, how much wine you're consuming. Eva says, oh, no, don't worry. That's why I'm asking for your advice. Well, you know this is not medical advice, so I can only tell you what I would do. But yeah, I think you have a lot of things you need to work on, to be quite honest. I mean, I have videos on food ideas. I have videos on obviously how to use the hydrogen. The amount of water is going to help too. I don't know how much water you're consuming, but I would say minimum of 2 liters and probably more like 2 to 3 liters a day. For your size, probably 2 to 2.5. Christiana says, do you get a lot of detox symptoms when starting hydrogen water? It all depends. If you're somebody who's really got some stuff trapped in there, it could happen. There is some data in regards to that. It goes away though. I mean, just having a lot of smoothie and all the fiber really pulls out a lot of toxins. Agnes says, no, Dramer, me have heart failure, fibromyalgia, POTS, diabetes type 2, hyperhidrosis. You know, Agneta, to be honest, I think a lot of those issues are totally fixable. A lot of times we cause a lot of these things to ourselves, unfortunately. We just don't realize that we're doing it. Because everybody's always arguing about the right thing to do, and I feel like the answers are so simple, but I don't like to argue about diet. Dramer was 260, now he's 180. Good for you, Dramor. Eva says, ha ha ha, no, just a regular glass. I don't know what that means, but still. Yes, 2 liters. Blood pressure usually 200 over 99 or higher. What Dramer means is that he used to be 260 pounds and has now dropped to 180. He showed me some pictures. He was a big boy, and now he's really getting healthier. And I'm like, you know what? I couldn't be more proud of him. Like, seriously, dude, keep it up. It's gonna change your life. You were going down a terrible path, and now you're doing like super amazing. And he's really going all out too. He's doing the smoothies. He's soaking raisins in hydrogen water. He's drinking the hydrogen. He's inhaling the hydrogen. He was making a few mistakes at first, putting the hydrogen catcher when he's inhaling, stuff like that. Eva says, with blood pressure meds still high, not working. See, that's exactly what's happened to the other lady. They kept upping the dose on her blood pressure medicine, and they just couldn't go past a certain point anymore. She followed, I don't know how long you've been doing the hydrogen protocol. It took her months, though. It doesn't happen immediately. And she followed the protocol very closely and eventually got off the medication, actually, which I was pretty surprised about, actually, because there was a lot of things that she didn't want to do, but it helped her a ton. Okay, well, guys, I'm going to say goodbye here soon. I think it's been a long enough video. Dramor says, guys, I watched all the videos, but still managed to not use my machine properly. Even standby mode, forgot about that. Yes, you have to make sure to shut off your machine, guys, when you're not using it. Don't leave it on standby with no water. It's not good for the machine at all. It could maybe even break it. Eva says, I just started like 2 weeks ago. Oh, yeah, you got a while to go, Eva. But keep it up. keep up the hydrogen protocol. Hopefully you have really super clean water. And I would personally go for a walk every single day, minimum for 30 minutes, but at least 1 hour. And I don't mean walking at the grocery store or walking at the mall or walking when you're shopping for stuff. I'm talking about a designated walk where you don't stop for 1 hour. I think that's going to help a lot. It's the absolute minimum that people really need to do for their health. Dramore says, but my machine, so expensive. Ugh. Well, yeah, just don't run it without any water, dude. Yeah, make sure to shut it off. It's not ideal, probably degraded it by 8%. Honestly, I think you're fine. The way they built these things, the Japanese they went all out to make it reliable. And there's most hydrogen machines out there are not actually very reliable. I've learned that the hard way and through tons of research, but I wouldn't worry too much. Yours is pretty new. And I guess that's about it, guys. So thanks for all the thumbs up. I can see some people gave me some, so thank you for that. That's very appreciated. Even didn't look originally, but thank you for that. In fact, let's see, there's 14 people in here. Let's see how many people can do a thumbs up and change that number dramatically all of a sudden. It's at 22. Oh, still 22. Somebody hit the thumbs up button. I want to see a thing change to 23. 23 is a lucky number. Eva says, thank you so much. My husband and I appreciate your channel so much. May God bless you. Oh, thank you, Eva. You're very welcome, and I sincerely hope that we fix this issue soon. Yeah, get off some. Oh, there's 23. Somebody gave the thumbs up. Yay. Man, there's 18 people in here, though. That should be jumping up by at least 10. Oh, somebody gave another one. There you go, 24. Woohoo, thank you, guys. Hey, it's free. You know, why not, right? Okay, now it's starting to get warm here. Okay, guys, I got my distiller running, too. Those things get kind of hot. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And I'm glad that you guys are finding everything helpful and whatnot. And we'll just talk again next time on the next one. And, you know, I'll be doing this again. But I'm glad it answered everybody's questions. At least, I don't know, I tried. Can't guarantee anything. And yeah, we'll see how Eva keeps going. I'm curious if she starts making some changes and see if it really can solve her blood pressure issues. So super awesome, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Oh boy, whoa. Somebody just gave me $50. Wow, well, thank you. You didn't have to, but wow, that was very nice. Holy cow. Let's see. Wow, okay, well, thank you so much. First super chat. Yeah, I don't even know exactly what that is. All right, Eva, yes, keep us posted. We want to see some results. Even if you just do it for 30 days. Just 30 days. You don't have to do it for 6 years or the rest of your life. Just 30 days. Eliminate all that stuff that you're talking about. Do absolutely no cheese, no dairy, you know, obviously. No meat, no eggs. Don't cook with oils. And just steam your food, boil your food, eat fermented food, eat some raw foods, make the smoothies, do your hydrogen protocol, like do all this stuff and just see what happens in 30 days to your blood pressure. This will be very interesting. Just 30 days. You join us here on the live podcast and let us know how you're doing. This will be very, very cool. But definitely your hydrogen protocol. And maybe if you have healthy kidneys, maybe I would personally go to maybe 2.5 liters a day if possible. Empty stomach. And drink the water, remember, drink the water right away just like I showed you in my videos. Just the way I did this morning. I poured it and I drink it. You know, for someone like you, I would drink it actually in less than 1 minute. I would try to do it practically within 30 seconds because you want every bit of hydrogen. You need every single little bit of it. And I mean, I'm getting plenty, so. All right, this will be interesting, guys. Let's see, Dramore says, on the internet, that means stay. What means stay? So if others want to donate, if they have the means. Oh, I see. Well, that's very kind. I mean, I can keep it running for a second. I'm actually going to make, I'm going to do, let's see, today, yeah, this is going to be excited, Eva. We're going to see what happens. And what other issues do you have? You have blood pressure. You have something to do with your thyroid. Did you say you had something to do with diabetes? I don't remember if that was one of the issues. While you guys respond to that, I'm going to make a healthy cup of organic coffee. So give me 1 second. With raw honey. Yeah, a lot of people argue about coffee, but you know, and it seems to be different for each person. Some people react to it differently than other people. But either way, it's a very heavily sprayed crop, so always organic, always grind my own beans. And I don't put any milk or nothing, not even sugary stuff. I put raw, unfiltered, unpasteurized, organic, super clean honey. Honey, there's so many health benefits to it. So anyway, let's see here. Oh yes, you do have type 2. Holy cow, Eva. This is gonna be really big for you. I really actually believe, I don't do decaf coffee because I believe it goes through a process that I'm not particularly very fond of. I thought I read about it, I'd have to confirm, but all I remember is that decaf didn't seem to be very good. Is organic decaf? No, I just do only organic and that's it. And as lightly roasted as possible. And with super clean water, obviously, to make the coffee. And I use that raw honey. But yeah, this is gonna be very interesting for your type 2 diabetes and for your high blood pressure. You're gonna have to monitor your blood glucose and you're gonna have to monitor your blood pressure because going to this type of lifestyle is gonna begin to affect things and it's gonna throw those things off. I've seen people, you really just have to, you know, ideally 3 months, but 1 month, I just wanna see what happens in just 1 month. So this is gonna be very interesting. What is the best? Science, hydrogen water, what is the best? Well, the best is gonna be super clean water with hydrogen in it. And hydrogen made properly. There's too many ways to do it incorrectly. It's unbelievable. So make it properly, cleanly, and then the rest of it would just be dietary and some walking. And, you know, I don't really do a lot of exercise, I would say. I actually think I do almost no exercise. In fact, I timed myself yesterday. I just started doing a little bit of exercise and I timed it. My exercise routine's about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's it. It's almost nothing. It's borderline pathetic. I mean, at some point I'm gonna up it, but I'm just doing 5 minutes and I do little walks and that's it. I don't do anything crazy. I don't lift crazy weights and I don't do, yeah, yeah, I know. It's terrible, right? But no, someday I'll get a little more into it again. Have you been lifting weights, Greg? No. Well, no, not really. I do almost no actual huge weights. I have a little tiny thing that I do that's like, how much does it weigh? I don't know. It's got to be like 15, 20 pounds. It's really small. But yeah, it's mostly walking. I do these weird little movements where I know I'm kind of using my muscles when like sometimes my arms will go like this, but my legs are just walking normal. So I pretend I'm running. Anyway, let me go grab my beverage here. Okay, let's grab some beans. All right. Okay, I probably should say goodbye soon. But I will say that I did experiments with hydrogen and even boron for muscles, and it seems to, and testosterone, and it seems to really be working. I'm pretty impressed with how good it's been working. Eva says, do you have a specific video for diabetes protocol on foods to eat? You know what I would actually do, Eva, for this one? Go to YouTube, type in nutritionfacts.org, literally on the YouTube search box, nutritionfacts.org, and then put a space and put diabetes. And it's a doctor, and his stuff, the reason I like his stuff is because it's really backed by the science and the data, and he shows studies constantly. He gives you all sorts of ideas of foods to eat, and I would probably follow something like that. Mine is pretty similar, but that would be a lot easier because I don't really have a ton of ways to, like, you know, yeah. Agneta says, I think it too. I will buy distiller and hydrogen. Oh, it's gonna make such a difference, Agneta. You're gonna be shocked. Drink proper amounts of water, full of hydrogen, and obviously the water being super clean. To me, it is a game changer. It's unbelievable. So, my personal opinion. Eva, so drink hydrogen water before any meal. Yes, but always try to have it, again, this is not medical advice, this is just what I would personally do. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to empty stomach, you drink the hydrogen water, you wait 20, 30 minutes, and then you go eat your meals. After you eat a meal, don't snack on anything, which means that by the time lunch is around, you're empty stomach again. So at an empty stomach, you drink the water again 20, 30 minutes before the meal. And you do the same thing for dinner. Then throughout the day, if you just want some hydrogen water, go ahead and have more. And then if you can do at least 90 minutes of inhalation a day would be awesome, minimum 30 minutes. That's what I would do. Dramor says, I used to loathe eating the hemp hearts. Now it's enjoyable. See, that's what happens. You know, your gut is connected to your palate. And this is gonna make a huge difference of how you taste food. This is why sometimes we think it has an acquired taste, as they say, right? Yummy. Okay, let's see. Terry says, yes, it's working by the looks of it. Well, you know what? I think, I don't know how much change has happened. I mean, maybe a little bit, because normally I wear kind of baggy clothes, but it's getting kind of hot now. Summer's around, and I like tank tops. They're so comfortable. But thank you for the nice comment. Agneta says, I walk 2 times 40 minutes with my dogs. There you go. That's good, Agneta. Good for you. You need an H2 bag. I keep it by my bed. Who, me or somebody else? I have an H2 bag. And yes, they can be very helpful. Okay, guys. Well, I guess with that being said, I should probably let you guys go. Boy, that tastes really good. Okay, Agneta says, thank you. You're very welcome. All right, guys. Good to see you all again. I'm glad this was helpful. Appreciate all your guys' thumbs up and support. Oh, yeah. Who gave a thumbs up? Here's somebody going. It's a 26. I want to see a 27, though I'd like to see a 30. That's only 4 thumbs up, and they're free. Guys, they're free. All you got to do is click the button. Somebody out there has got to have not done it yet. I need 4 thumbs up, and then I can say goodbye. Come on, guys. I got to go. Let's see. Nobody, I guess. Okay. Literally not one. Oh, there's one. Okay, 27. Woohoo. Thank you, guys. All right, Eva says, have a great weekend. Thank you. And Eva, you can email me. I really appreciate your donation, by the way. And you can email me, uprising144k@gmail. And if you want, we can talk a little more and go into some details. Watch that channel that I suggested about food ideas. You can Google a lot of ideas too. And I have lots of videos where I've shown my meals and what I eat. And yeah, so everything's great. And although I was waiting for the 30 thumbs up, we're missing 3. I'm just gonna have to say goodbye because I don't think anybody's gonna do any more. But thank you, whoever did some of those. Appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys next time on the next one. All right, till next time.